What is going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit. Welcome back to another live show. In today's live show, we got a special treat for you guys because we got two top dog killers in the house right now who have been adding a ton of value to the reselling community, sharing a ton of free information, and they've actually come from pretty humble beginnings, $600, retail arbitrage, reselling, doing it all, and they actually built a quite large wholesale Amazon business. And I believe over the last couple of years, they've done over 10, $11 million. So I'm going to let them share the details, but I want to introduce you guys to Dan Metters and Eric Lambert. So what's going on, guys? How you doing?
Not much, man. I'm just happy to be on here with you.
Yeah, doing great. I'm glad that we're actually able to get this going for you. I just left my house before I came in, and the power is storming terribly here, and the power is off at my house. So fortunately, we're all good to go here. So hopefully we're coming through just fine.
So even with the power out in a storm, you guys still, came with matching costumes on. What's the deal with that?
Well, I mean, clearly he just emulates anything that I do. So I'm sure that he saw me wear this one day and then went and bought the second best version of the shirt. I mean, the Patriots are clearly superior. So there's that.
We'll have to see what the comments have to say. So what do we got? A Patriots shirt on and a Falcons?
Yep.
So everybody in the comments, let us know. So yeah, welcome everybody to the show, guys. We're going to be talking about Dan and Eric's journey. We're going to be talking about wholesale, and we're going to be talking a lot about some really, really cool content. So before we get into the show, I want to let you folks know that Dan and Eric are actually putting on, and if you guys have been following me on Facebook or Instagram, I talked about it, but they're putting on a free 5-day Amazon wholesale training, right? So it's going to be 5 days. It's online. People have been asking me, Steve, do I have to travel? Do I have to go anywhere? No, it's 100% free. No credit cards, none of that. 100% free, and it's online starting, I believe, what is it, July 17th to the 21st, guys?
I think that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you got it right.
Cool. So yeah, definitely check that out, guys. Link is in the description. And later on, we're going to talk about what they're going to be teaching and everything in that free 5-day workshop. But with that being said, let's get into the show, guys. So tell everybody kind of who you are, your story for the people who don't know you, and how did you get into this crazy world of reselling and Amazon and wholesale?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the first part about where we're from gives our accent kind of gives that away. We're clearly from the South, and we're from Kentucky. And as you mentioned, we started off with a couple $100 credit card doing retail arbitrage here in I think about 2011. And we had a full-time job still at that time. After about 6 months of doing RA on the side, we decided to just kind of go all in, and it worked out that January 2012, clean break from employment. Straight into this, hit the road doing, everybody that's ever done RA knows the routine.
So what you're saying is, whenever somebody makes a major business decision, they should do it during Q4, right?
Well, and that's another thing too, is we were kind of, if we knew now what we knew then, that Q4 was just this huge surplus and cornucopia of sales, we may have been less inclined to make that risk, but the ignorance was bliss for us, and clearly worked out. We just had this, wow, things were selling insane. We can do this around, full time. So here we go. And we did that for about 2 years, right? 2.5 years. We did really well, but we were, spent a lot of time hitting the pavement here in Kentucky, particularly where we're at. It's very rural. So, there's a Walmart here, and that's about it. To reach anything, Target or anything else, TJ Maxx or any kind of, larger chain, big box store, you're an hour and a half away, from where we're at. And so we're putting a lot of time and mileage in on the roads, away from the family and stuff. And we decided we wanted to try to figure out, let's do a little experimentation with, some wholesale, the wholesale model, getting products shipped to us, maybe, maybe get a little less margin per product, but sell more of them. And that was kind of a concept. And it was sort of the same trial that we had while we were employed. We were full-time employed trying out RA. Now we're full-time RA trying out wholesale. And then about the same amount of time, 4 months in, we realized wholesale was the future for us. So that Q4, we still were running both of them, but that was the last RA days we had was Q4 2014. As soon as January rolled around of 2015, we've been full-time wholesale since then. And as you mentioned, we've done just shy of $7 million last year and over 11 million total since we've been selling on Amazon.
Wow, that's crazy. And when you were doing retail arbitrage, did you ever put up any numbers like that? Because, you see people in the Facebook groups and they put up a couple 100,000, sometimes even more than that. Did you guys ever scale that much with your retail business, or you just didn't have enough time?
No, I mean, we did very well. I mean, that was the thing is, retail arbitrage worked really well for us. Like, we made a lot of money. We did our first year doing retail arbitrage. I think we did 860,000. Was that about right?
They're both about
about 900,000. Yeah, right.
I mean, but we put in all this time, and this was before any kind of real community was evolved where you could get tips or trade lists or things like this. So we were doing it all on our own out there, just trying to figure out what was good. And then, like I said, where we had to drive so far just to even an hour and a half before you can even really begin sourcing. Made it to where we had to spend a lot of time on the road to put up those kind of numbers for us.
Like, we were probably working honestly like 60-hour weeks consistently. Yeah. Like, that was, that's not just Q4. I mean, that was pretty much across the board. And Eric has kids, I have kids, and it's so hard being away from your family for that, that length of time. But RA was really good to us. It gave us a lot of opportunity to be able to do what we do now.
Isn't it weird how, like, because I used to work, quote unquote normal job, and we've got this dream of like working for ourselves and everything's amazing and we're making money, and then all of a sudden we kind of have a chain around our ankle, and it's like we own our own job in a sense, right? And
you become almost like a prisoner of your own job. Like, it's like being a prisoner of your own success, and that was because it's so comfortable to stay doing what you know. And we probably should have done this at least a year before we did. Yeah. But it was just you get used to these things, and you're making money and you're doing well, and it's like it's so hard to make that jump and change. So, but again, I wouldn't change anything about the way we've grown our business. It's just I wish we would have been able to make that jump sooner.
So you quit your job, you were doing retail arbitrage, transitioned over to wholesale, scaled your business, saved yourself some time. And that sounds like great and everything. And like, people are probably like, that's awesome. But like, people are probably thinking right now, because I know I was thinking this as well, like, what exactly is wholesale, right? Like, people hear it all the time. Like, wholesale's obviously getting items at like a cheaper price, but like, can you talk and like define, first of all, what's wholesale and like maybe your business model for people that aren't really sure?
Sure. Wholesale is the easiest concept in the world. It's working with a wholesaler or brand owner to buy product directly from them for resale, for the purposes of resale. So you're able to get a discount, and you're buying product in larger quantity than say personally consumable, right? And particularly with our model, it's really awesome. Like, we work directly with the brand owners. Like, we don't typically buy from distributors and things like that. We work directly with brand owners, and we develop awesome relationships, and then we purchase direct from them for the purpose of selling on Amazon. So it's that's wholesale in a nutshell. But
cool. Awesome. Now, for the people out there who are wondering, and I'm wondering it myself, like, what are the advantages to wholesale in your mind? I know we talked about freedom and scalability a little bit, but like, what are some of the advantages of wholesale in your opinions versus, maybe thrifting or garage selling, or maybe we'll talk with like the basic stuff, like right now, like retail arbitrage, garage sales, thrifting. That's kind of how a lot of people get started. And then afterwards we'll compare it to maybe like private label and like having a Shopify store. But can you compare wholesale to like thrifting and retail arbitrage?
Sure. I think it's got a lot of advantages. The first one is everything is systemized, right? Like, we don't have to, whenever we make a purchase of products, it just follows our system. Like, we figured out a formula that works for us and works for our business model, and we don't have to make individual decisions on products. So that allows us to outsource easily. Like, me and Eric actually don't do any of the sourcing in our business, where it's handled by employees and virtual assistants entirely. Oh, wow. So that's one huge advantage. The next huge advantage is, our invoices are amazing. So like, if we get an inauthentic claim, or we get a counterfeit claim, or used like new claim, or something like that, we're able to get not only an invoice that shows it's directly from the manufacturer, brand new, but we're also able to get a letter from the manufacturer that says we're an authorized seller. So that's really huge. And then one that's really become prevalent. I mean, I would love to say we drew it up like this, like, you know, we knew that this was coming, and you know, we were headed into this model because of that, but that's not true at all. You know, brand restrictions are becoming a real thing on Amazon. It's like
more and more every day.
It's even becoming more and more every day. But it takes us about 24 hours to get unlocked on a brand, because all the manufacturers we work with, we just go to them and we're like, hey, you know, we do sell on Amazon. We need to get this information from you. We get it back in 24 hours and shoot it over to Amazon, and we're unlocked. So it's, you know, there is a lot of value in being a partner with a brand, whereas, you know, maybe with like a distribution model, that's a lot more difficult, and certainly impossible with RA or thrifting. You're never going to be able to do that, like get unlocked to get authorized to carry those products.
There's one thing I actually want to touch on that Dan kind of, when he's talking about systems, which allows scalability and outsourceable, but the reason systems can even be put in place is one of the main advantages of it, and that's predictability. Because I know what I'm going to expect it to be reordered, the same products. I don't have to go out and I'm not searching again and again trying to find the next hot item for RA, or even if I know there's going to be anything out there. With wholesale, I know what I'm ordering next month or 3 months out, and that predictability you know, helps with your cash flow, and then that's what allows systems to be put in place. Systems can be built on you know, repeated tasks or expected returns and things like this. So this is what allows a step to systems, which then allows the scalability once you've implemented the systems.
It's funny because like you pulled off that, and then it's like you gave me another idea about what to talk about here. And it's whenever you know, with thrifting, like you can find that, you know, $1 or $2 item that you sell for $100,
and that's great. That's
amazing.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Like we used to love that stuff too. We don't get that anymore. Like our business doesn't do $2 selling products for $100. It's like never happens. But what we're able to do is like once you sell that, you know, giant profit item, you have to go find another one. Whereas all we have to do every time we add a new line, it's adding on to the existing lines we already carry, which is why you see our sales continue to rise, is because we're just adding to sales, like he said.
Wow, that's cool. So some of the benefits, just to recap for the people who are coming in, replens, right? So anytime you run out of inventory, you know, we're going to talk about product research because I see some people asking about it. But once you find a product that you want to invest in, once it sells out, you just pretty much push a button, right? Send an email, and then
ring them up. Yeah, you get it.
It takes about 3 minutes usually to get a reorder in.
So replens, scalability, right? Because obviously you're not having to go out and physically source it. You've got all the connections, and then obviously leveraging FBA, and gating restrictions, which is a real issue right now. And I can't tell you how many items I scan, because I'm still, you know, a very avid thrifter, and I go out and more items are restricted like all the time. And one of my really close friends, he actually sold an item on Amazon, and it was obviously a real item. It was from Walmart, and they're saying it's counterfeit, and he shows them the receipt, and they don't want to see the receipt. They want to see 3 invoices. And it's crazy because how are we going to get, you know, invoices? We're buying it from Walmart. You know, we have the actual item. So that is a liability right there. That is a big liability, and it's tough. So those are some pretty cool advantages. What would you say the differences are, like maybe the good and the bad, when you compare wholesale to private label? Because private label, that's a big, you know, people are talking about it. I hear a lot of people talking about private label, even more than probably wholesale. I hear private label buzzing a lot. What are your thoughts on it? Because I know you've done private label in the past, haven't you? And you've done wholesale. So what is your honest opinion on both, since you've done both before?
I mean, for me, I'll kick this off. And you know, the reason that private label is such you know, has such a nice appeal, a curbside appeal, if you will, is because of you know, you get all the sales, and you generally get large margins, or much more large margins than you would expect in wholesale. And that's, you know, that's once it's all up, done, and polished. But what isn't really you know, advertised as much is how much money it takes to get that product to that point. And not every product can get to that point. Like you're your own promotion. Like this product, you've got to understand, when you're making this product for private label, it doesn't exist. Now you've got to put it in the consciousness of the buyer, which means that you have to advertise, you have to give away, you have to do promotions, you have to make your product relevant when people are searching for it. Then that takes money. And then even then, you're going to have competition, because, okay, let's say you've done all this, you've spent this money, you've had, you know, a 3-month, 4-month turnaround and getting your product shipped over on a container. So you've had to float your cost of goods for that amount of time too. Now you're relevant and you've gotten your sales for 2 or 3 months. Well, you have nothing proprietary. There's nothing that's going to stop me or any other good private labeler to going to the same source you did, which is Alibaba.com, finding the exact same thing, putting my brand name on it, pumping my money into it, and now you have a direct competitor. So yeah, you're still getting all of your buy box sales on your product, but you're getting fewer of them because the exact same thing, Steve Co here is doing the exact same thing that I did for 5 months and made a lot of money on, and because there's nothing proprietary. I don't have any intellectual property.
I improved it just a little bit and I sold a little more.
Right. And then, so you're still sharing sales, but people, you don't really, because that's what they say about wholesale. It's like, well, you're splitting shares with, 4 or 5 people are all getting, and it's like you are too with private label if your product becomes relevant. If it doesn't matter anyway. Nobody's getting any sales.
Right. Like that's the problem with private label. If your product doesn't sell, it is dead. Yeah. Like you lose that entire amount of money. And we get contacted by companies relatively often saying, hey, will you help us work with our brand? Because they know a lot of, we have our website and they know a lot about what we do. And we actually got contacted by one yesterday. This lady had bought, she's very successful too, very successful outside of Amazon. She bought a private label product. She bought 2,000 units at $55 each. I mean, so you can do the math, big old investment on that one. And she sent it into Amazon. She pumped a ton. She said she pumped a ton of money into marketing, and product just won't do it. Like she had competitors come in, and they're obviously as capitalized as she is, and she can't get the product to take off. And it's been 8 months, and she was like, "I just need to get out of this product. Can you help me find a place to liquidate this thing?" And it's like, can you? That's the problem with private label is when your product doesn't sell, you can't do anything with it. Whereas like if we have a bad product, because bear in mind that everything we buy is already existing on Amazon and already selling very well.
So is what you're saying is when you're wholesaling a product versus private label, you've got to build the brand from scratch. You've got to run the PPC. You've got to get the reviews. You've got to get people to know you. Hopefully, maybe you're building an email list or something. Whereas when you're going wholesale, you're piggybacking on a brand that already has a following, that has like their own little tribe. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
100%.
And it also has the historical sales data with, proven sales rank over time. So like he said, when he said if a product goes bad for us, it's not like bad in the sense of private label, like it doesn't sell. He's saying, if the margin goes away a little bit or it's not as, enticing once we get it, we're still going to sell the product. It has, its sales rank is 2,000 already. It has been for months or years. And we're going to be able to get our money back. If the dead product, private label product isn't selling, there's nothing you can do. You can't make it sell. There's no demand for it.
So what? Oh, keep going, Dan. I'm sorry.
In our model, if like I said, we target very liquid products. I mean, that's a big part of our business. So whenever a product, like you said, it goes down, the worst case scenario for us usually is losing 5 to 10%, and our money's back. Like we don't buy products deep; we buy a month's supply. So it's like we sell through those units, and we just don't restock the product, and we find something better. So it's that's like worst case scenario for us. That we've seen in 2.5 years, and so with private label, it's so hard to recover your funds if it goes poorly, and that's what most people don't realize. And then there's other issues, with what about product liability? Like nobody can answer that question. Like, do you really need product liability insurance?
What does that mean for the people who don't understand? Because I almost, in a sense, don't understand. What do you mean by product liability? Like getting sued?
Right. Because here's the thing: is like let's say that Steve Co creates a product. You are the manufacturer of record. Like if a child chokes, like you get your product and chokes on it, like you're getting sued. Now, whether your insurance covers you or not, there's a lot of loopholes there. Like, did you have it properly tested? Did you do all these other things? And then look at what Amazon recently did with fidget spinners. Like that's really important, I think, is and this shows that private label products can just be turned off in a whim too. Like all these people who brought these fidget spinners to the market, what did Amazon require? They started requiring government testing. Do you know how hard it is to get government testing? It's like, it's dang near impossible. Like that's the problem. So these people are going to have to go get tested to get their products reauthorized. Otherwise, it is literally dead money in their inventory. Now, if that happened to us, like our companies do that for us. Like all we do is like, hey, we need this documentation. Can you ship it to us?
Yeah, and they are the manufacturer too.
Right.
They're the manufacturer on record. So if a consumer has a poor experience and somebody gets sued, they're the manufacturer of the product. So it's that company that is liable for the product.
And then you talk about a lot of promotion strategies with private label. Like you start talking about giveaways and all this stuff. All that stuff is actually against the rules on Amazon. I mean, it's actually against the rules.
I know there's a lot of loopholes. Yeah.
for promotional purposes. So you get into all this stuff, and it's like it's almost like the same business model, because our research methods are very similar. It's the way we buy in quantity and stuff like that is more favorable to us, actually, because we buy thinner quantity, because everything's domestic. But outside of that, it's relatively the same, except you're carrying all this liability with private label, and if you want to promote it you want to promote it the most aggressive way to get your product up and running. Like, you're probably breaking the rules, and then you got all these product liability issues. And if your product doesn't win, you just lose that money. Like, to me, it's not even close that wholesale is a superior model. Now, I do think that private label for Amazon purposes, is the second best model. Like, I mean, I think you would agree with that too, because it's efficient. Like, that's the thing, is with wholesale or private label, like whichever one you do, it's efficiency based, right? Because I'm ordering a big amount of stuff, and I'm able to sell it and build efficiency and make over time. So you don't have to reestablish your buys and the products that make you money every time you sell something.
There's one more point that I kind of alluded to with the, if Steve Co gets this product up and running, there's nothing, stopping me from coming in and private labeling a very similar, if not the exact same thing, just with my brand on it. With most, if not all of our products, the company has a registered trademark or intellectual property, or product that is, has a registered patent, or something that there's not going to be any imitators. Like, you may get competition on that listing, and that's when you reevaluate, but you don't have to worry about the exact same product coming to market, because these companies have actually invented something or brought something to market, and it is protectable, patentable, trademarked. And so that is another advantage, versus just, what I would call a generic or general private label product.
So let me ask you a question real quick. Let me jump in, Dan. So what's the stop? Would you do anything different, or do you have a strategy that you can share that allows you to be able to find products that maybe other people can't find as easily? Because, with private label, like you were saying, say you make your own fidget spinner, like I can make one too. I can get it imported from China, put my own brand in it. Obviously, you don't want to do that one anymore, but whatever, right? A toe clipper, whatever, right? With wholesale, what's to stop me from jumping on that listing? Are you doing something unique or different?
Sure. That's the biggest part of our model, is we focus, and that's why we don't buy. We don't typically buy through distributors and general wholesalers and stuff like that. Is what we found whenever we first started was that we couldn't compete. Like, honestly, we just couldn't compete, because if we're ordering through a distributor, I mean, they're not brand centric. They don't care about their brand. They care about selling more units. So, like, whenever we're ordering, the only thing that's differentiating me from Steve Co is the size of my order. And I just hope mine's bigger, and I hope I get a better discount. But there's really nothing outside of that. And here's the thing, is there's always going to be somebody bigger than you, right? And that's true for us. Like, so whenever we're buying those products, we're always going to be getting beat. So early on in the process, we started looking at this wholesale in general, and sat down and was like, all right, so what can we do to make ourselves different? Like, what can we do to give ourselves some sort of advantage, or at least allow us to play the game? And we decided that, most companies won't compete on service, right? Like, at the end of the day, most people aren't trying to compete with service. So whenever we go to like I said, we go to brand owners, and we target small to mid-sized companies. Like, I'm not targeting Rubbermaid. I'm not targeting Nike. Like, those companies are huge with massive budgets. And if I change their sales by $3 million, it doesn't matter to them. Like, that's so insignificant, it just doesn't matter. But if I go to a small to mid-level manufacturer, and I'm like, hey, these are things that I think will really improve your sales. We have a lot of experience with Amazon, and like, here's some of the things we're doing, and I think this would help you. If that changes their sales $1 million or $500,000 even, that's huge. So that entices these companies to work with us. Now you have to realize, like, most companies say no. Like, most companies don't want to work with you. They just don't. And it's because, they feel like they have enough Amazon sellers and things like that. But what we're able to do is, by showing them actual value, we reach out, we try to establish a good relationship. And then guess what? Like, once we're in, like, everybody else, they're telling no. I mean, that's the thing, is Steve Co comes up and he's like, hey, I'd like to carry your products. Sorry, Steve Co, can't do it. We already have enough Amazon sellers. Like, that's the response you're getting. So it's like, it does have a built-in protection if you're targeting the right products. Now, if you're just targeting general, crappy products, like, Of course, you're going to get competition. You're going to always be fighting the fight. But if you focus on relationships, like, and you're establishing relationships with the right products, like it's almost like having an exclusive or semi-exclusive with every product you carry.
Wow, that's really, really cool. So let me ask you guys, can anybody start wholesale? Because, I hear a lot of people talking about private label, and we were talking about it in Shopify. And, people ask me, can anyone start Shopify store? Can anyone start private label? The answer is yes, but the thing is there's like a million moving pieces, right? Like we were talking about PPC, email marketing, like getting reviews, like all these different things. Would you say that, there's a two-part question, do you think that anybody can start a wholesale business, or is it like extremely sophisticated? And how much money typically does it cost to get started in wholesale? I know it'll vary, right? There's no really good answer, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, certainly anybody can start, and I mean, we started as a spinoff. RA was our full-time gig. This was just something we started, as a side venture, and as you start getting experience, I mean, you don't have to jump straight in. It's not like, okay, you have to either be, one model and that's it. So of course, yeah, you can pick up an account or two, or, and start building on that before, moving straight into wholesale completely. Or even if you'd like, to have a portfolio of some RA, some private label, some wholesale, that's completely fine too. So yeah, I think anybody can. And as far as money, the thing is you could start probably as low as, a minimum order for a product. And most of what we find are like $200 or $300 or $400 tops. But I mean, that's not realistic. So, I mean, honestly, like probably around $2,000 is probably some place that you have a little leverage in terms of, well, if I up my order a little bit, maybe I get a little bit of a discount. It also allows you to like get a few SKUs going at one time, get a couple of different products, and get your money working for you. I mean, like in theory, like you said, you could start off with minimum order for the first product you found or the first company you found, but that's not, that's going to take forever to get going or whatever. So realistically, I feel like that's a pretty good number. What do you think?
No, I mean, I think I think 2,000, 3,000 is a great number to get started with. Like you said, I mean, you can order, most of the minimum orders we see are $200 to $500.
Oh, it's not bad at all.
You can place that, but you need, to be successful, honestly, like we feel like you need multiple minimum orders to be, to test out products and learn, because there is a learning curve. I think it's really small, to be honest with you.
Especially with the amount of data that's available in software these days. Like
right.
There's so much historical data available where we just had to play it by ear. Like, let this product, we think it might sell this many in this month. Let's see what happens. Now with all the stuff that's going on with innovation, they can get those estimates down to where the risk is so mitigated these days. It's pretty, I'm actually a little jealous, to be honest. They're not going to have many of the growing pains that we had to go through a bit.
But I mean, we've worked with sellers who had literally never sold online before, not even just Amazon, like had never sold online, and they were up and running with a real wholesale business within 30 days. Like, that's the thing, is it doesn't take an excessive amount of skill. It's just being able to analyze like what is wrong with a product on Amazon. Like, you think about it, you bring up a product, you look at it, and it's like, okay, so out of the various things on this page, what would make this sell better? And then being able to communicate that to somebody. If you can do that, like, you can do wholesale. It's very easy.
So could you talk about your process? Say, I know that you have people working for you now and everything that do a lot of your product research and whatnot, but can you talk from like, the first step to maybe putting that deal together? Like, how does that work in terms of like sitting down and like doing product research and whatnot? Like, I know you mentioned you're looking for listings that have issues and whatnot. So could you talk a little bit about like your process from sitting down, doing the research to putting a deal together, some of the major things that you do?
Yeah, it's super easy. It's like, we have 3 criteria initially, and it's number one, that Amazon does not sell the product. Now, why do we not compete with Amazon? And it's simple. It's Amazon changes the buy box algorithm. Like, if me and Steve Co are on the same listing and we're both at $19.99, roughly I'm going to get 50% of the sales. You're going to get 50% of the sales. Like, now it may vary by 5% or something like that if I'm bigger or you're bigger, but it's going to be relatively similar, right? Now, if Amazon's on that listing and we're both $19.99, like, sometimes I'll get 5% of sales, sometimes I'll get 10, sometimes I'll get 0. It's just unpredictable.
Wow, the house always wins, huh?
Right. Yeah. And it's like, you can't build a business around that. You can't build a business around like, maybe I'll sell some stuff. I don't know. Like, so we chose, number one, no Amazon. Number 2, not private labeled. Now, why do we not want to sell private label products? And it's, if you think about it, like the private label products on Amazon were generally private labeled so they could be a retailer. Like their end game was to be a retailer. And it's like, you know, that's part of the win for them. So it's like, I don't want to, for me, it's just to save time, like I will avoid those products. The next thing is that the product sells very well. Like we want the product to sell 90 times or more a month. Now, why? It's because that shows liquidity. If there's always demand for that product, we will always be able to sell it, even if we had to sell it for a loss. Like that's our safety net. It's like, it shows that people want that product. So if it qualifies those three things, that's a company I'm going to reach out to and contact and start to try to set up a relationship with.
Cool. Super awesome. So hopefully everyone watching right now is enjoying this content. We have 195 people in the house right now. So I want to take a little halftime break and thank everybody for coming on in and spending your time watching this video. Hopefully you guys are learning. If you're not taking notes, make sure you're taking notes. The replay will be up as well, so you guys can check it out. So yeah, be sure to like the video, guys. If you are enjoying this so far, hit the like, thumbs up, leave a comment. We are going to be answering up the comments probably in 15 minutes or so to answer all of your questions. So anything you have to ask, any questions, you know, Dan and Eric said beforehand, feel free to ask. They're an open book. So feel free to ask away. It looks like a bunch of people are hitting the like button. So thank you. Thank you. We got Mama J in the house, Miners Treasures, Lisa Walton. Looks like Miners Treasures is leaving a lot of comments. Good to see you. We had, who was it? Sober Reseller was saying, please be my mentor. So, Sober Reseller, if you're just coming in, I want to let everybody know they do have a free 5-day workshop. So check out the first link in the description, and they can be your personal mentor for free for 5 days. So you can enjoy that. Linda, what's going on? Good to see everybody. So appreciate all the love. Let's get into the second half of the show. And again, everybody, we're going to open up the comments as well. So we talked about a lot of cool things. We defined wholesale. We talked about the advantages of wholesale over traditional reselling, private label. We talked about the benefits, replenishable, scaling the business, ungating, liability. Let me ask you a question, because I know there's a lot of people who are probably getting excited, but let me ask you, if somebody was to get started in the first 30 days, what's the number one obstacle that people have to get over to start seeing success, right? What's the one thing that you've noticed in, you know, your free Facebook group and everything? I see you guys are always helping people. What's the one thing that stops people from starting to make sales and have success?
Well, there are actually three hurdles. Like, you never see the hurdle number 2 until you conquer hurdle number 1. So it's like
it just pops up.
Hurdle number 1 is people have trouble looking at the right products. And it's weird because, like, you know, when we say small to mid-sized manufacturers, like most people are like, oh, you know, I could do that. But it's whenever you've done, like, particularly retail arbitrage, you're auto trained to look at certain types of products. And it took us longer. Now it's funny because the new people that we work with don't have that. Like they don't have to like change their brain to be able to see the right products because they don't have any preconceptions. But whenever you have that retail arbitrage or thrifting mentality, like you're already kind of trained to look at products, and you kind of have to forget all that and start looking to try to find companies you can help. But like once you start seeing those products, and it's like, you know, for what it's worth, like I'm awful at retail arbitrage now. Like if I go in a store, like I don't even have a clue what to look at. But the only products I see on Amazon are the products that make sense to us. Like the other stuff just is like, you know, move until I find the right stuff. And it's like, once you're able to conquer that hurdle, the next one is getting accepted by manufacturers. So it's like, you have to have a strategy for that. Like most manufacturers will just tell you no, like I don't want to work with you.
And that's the big thing too, is being able to understand that no doesn't mean you're a failure or you're unsuccessful or anything like that. I mean, we still hear no the majority of the time, and it's not personal, it's business, and you know, just not to let that, you know, get you down.
Right. So I mean, that's hurdle number 2, and then hurdle number 3 is always pricing, and it's, you know, you have to become more effective at negotiating. You have to become better at delivering value to show them that they need you as well. But once you're able to do all those things, and it's like, you know, it's a learning curve. I mean, that is the learning curve right there. Like that's it. But once you can do those things, you can build a business almost on autopilot because everything is by system and it's completely outsourceable.
Awesome. There was a question that came in earlier. People were asking, and I know the answer because you guys posted a pretty funny video. But do you need a warehouse to be able to do wholesale? Right? There's a lot of people who don't necessarily want the overhead, and they don't want to be stuck in a location. Like me personally, like I wouldn't want to have a warehouse. Like I like the freedom of being able to travel and everything. So is a warehouse necessary? Yes or no?
Absolutely not. For what it's worth, if we were started over tomorrow, like if I restarted our entire business tomorrow, I would not have a warehouse at all. But here's the thing: we didn't know that prep centers existed back whenever we really got started, and we already had infrastructure. Like we already have, we already had forklifts, we already had everything we need to be able to operate a warehouse. So it's like now it makes sense for us. But as far as doing it, you don't have to have any of that. Like I would probably have our VA team and our buying team. So I mean, I would still have a little office, but that's just because we're trying to scale to $10-20 million. So absolutely not. I think anybody can do this from anywhere and grow it to grow it as big as they want to without having a warehouse or something to tie them down.
So I hate to be the guy who you watch videos and it's almost like you could tell they're trying to scare you. And that's not what I'm trying to do right now. But like I talk to a lot of people and people are worried about like the thrift store prices are going up like crazy. Like there's all these ungatings, like Amazon restrictions, and again, I'm not trying to be like one of those guys, but like it's a reality. Sometimes you have to just like wake up and realize things are changing. Like there's a couple guarantees in life. Like you're going to die, you're going to pay taxes, and things are always going to change. Like things are changing right now with thrifting. Things are changing with Amazon, and the internet's becoming more and more popular. Everyone has a phone. Information's easily accessible. Like people are worried about a sustainable business. And I'm not going to lie and say like I haven't worried about it either, because I have a good deal of my income that comes from retail arbitrage, thrifting, garage sales, different things like that. And I talk to a lot of people and they're worried about this, and they don't want to go back to their 9-to-5. They don't want to go back to their boss. Like they want to continue to go kayaking and spend time with their friends and family, and like it's the good life being a reseller, like being on Amazon. Like it's the good life, and people are worried like, is this going to be going on for 5 years? Like my mother, she's actually just getting ready to retire, and I think she has like 6 months left, and she sells books. That's all she does, and she loves books. And like I can tell you guys, like she used to like be so bored all the time, just laying around the house, nothing to do, like didn't have much money. And now that she's been selling books, like she's happy, she's out, like she's losing weight, like she's having fun, but she's getting more and more worried about books because now the newer textbooks are getting restricted. Like there's more and more competition coming in. Like talk about sustainability in wholesale and your thoughts maybe on the future, because I know this is something that I think a lot about, and I think others are as well.
I mean, here's the thing. For what it's worth, like I hope retail arbitrage lasts forever. But a lot of our friends do it, and I think it's a great way to get started selling online. It's very low risk and things like that.
I mean, it complements the entire Amazon experience. I mean, that providing that long tail and the products, knowing that people can go to Amazon and get anything at any time of the day. RA provides a large portion of those types of products, those hard to find products or whatever. So if that experience starts going away for buyers, then we all actually hurt. If buyers start going to Amazon because all they have is Nike and Johnson & Johnson products and Nabisco and that's it, then you're going to know what to expect. Customers don't come around, so it affects us all. So I mean, I hope the RA and all of them stick around, like he says, forever.
But I mean, and I want to pull it back and say, I would love to be able to tell you right now that 2 years ago when we decided to go into wholesale, that we were like, yeah, all these changes are going to happen on Amazon and we're going to be in great shape. But like I told you earlier, that didn't happen. I mean, it's just been kind of happy mistakes for us. Some of all these changes, for all the recent changes, have greatly benefited us. So while it does, it kind of sucks for other people, some
and other models,
and other models. These changes have made us money. And one of the most recent changes is if you look at brand registry 2.0, like it's starting to give more power to brands. And that's the thing, is once you develop these relationships with brands and you're able to help them stabilize and grow within that channel, they want to work with you. Like the brands we work with don't want to be a retailer. Like they want a retailer to handle their products professionally. So that's what we do is effectively, we're a brand representative for products on Amazon, for certain lines on Amazon. So as far as sustainability, like as long as Amazon's a place, like there will be a place for us to sell products, because we're able to help brands grow and realize their potential in that marketplace. Like, think of it from this perspective. Whenever you want to buy Clorox, do you go to the Clorox store? No, you don't go to the Clorox store. Like, they don't want to sell you Clorox directly because it's annoying, and they're a manufacturer. You go to a retailer, and that's what we do is we provide a service for these brands on Amazon. So, I mean, as far as being sustainable, I don't think there is a more sustainable model out there.
The things I like most about it, just from talking to you guys tonight, is number one, just like being able to get behind the brand. I think that's really cool, not having to worry about all the marketing and stuff, because I do quite a bit of marketing with my Shopify store, with different products that I launch, membership sites, and a lot of people don't realize the amount of work that it takes to get a product to sell. Like, you could have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, do you know how much money it costs to just like run Facebook ads like alone? Like, it's crazy. And like PPC with Amazon, I don't have much experience with that, but I know that can get super expensive. Like, I like the idea of being able to jump behind the brand and the following. I like the idea about the liability, because that's always one thing that's worried me about, getting kicked off and like proving invoices and stuff. And the scalability, like, it's super, super cool. We had a question from Lisa Walton, and she was asking, I don't know if you old guys can remember this far back. I'm just kidding. What was the first wholesale product that you guys ever purchased? Can you remember?
Yep. It was actually a blood test. It's no longer on Amazon. It's considered a
blood test.
Yeah, it was a
blood typing test.
Yeah, blood type test.
So you could test your blood type at home. It was a kit, and it's like the DNA test or anything like this, where you provide samples and then you send it off to the lab and they mail you the results back. So that's what it was.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's actually no longer on Amazon. Was determined to be a Class 2 medical device. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. I mean, but that was our very first one that we did well.
Did you make money on it? Yeah, you made money on it.
Huh? Oh yeah, that one was amazing. Like, that one was we carried that product for probably 9 months, and we were buying it for $4. Selling it on Amazon for $14.99, and we were selling.
And we sold
250,
too, right?
like 250, 300 units a month.
Yeah, and we'd sell multi-packs too. They come in they have a listing for a 5-pack,
Yeah.
maybe even a 10-pack or
You're
something.
making,
So
what, 1,000, 1,500 a month just off that product, if my math is correct.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just off that one.
So we got a question. Actually, two people asked the same question. So we have Victoria Miller. What's going on, Victoria? And Lisa again is asking, how do you get in touch with manufacturers? By writing a letter or a phone call? All
right. So this is going to be really hard. I mean, it's really hard to do. No, I'm just kidding. We just Google them. We just
this
Google
is where everyone leaves.
No, we just Google and generally we always send them an email because it's faster than a phone call. But I'll tell you this: like, if you're making phone calls, your conversion is going to be much higher. So like our conversion's like literally 4x on phone calls versus emails. So take that for what it is. But we always send an email first because it's more convenient.
A couple people asking about drop shipping. They wanted you to talk about drop shipping. Do you do any drop shipping or anything like that in your wholesale business?
No, I mean, honestly, I probably wouldn't do it now on Amazon. Like, there's so many with the refund. Like, there was a change with refunds, and it's just metrics are so hard. Like, it's so hard on your metrics if they are late on a shipment or anything like that. Like, I wouldn't do it personally. All of our stuff is we buy the products, then we sell it. We're physically selling it.
Yeah, and I mean, we're very firm believers in the FBA program, and that goes against that. Customers buy on convenience, and it's getting more and more as Prime grows. So we have no interest in drop ship personally.
Yeah, FBA is just, everybody's shopping off Amazon now. Like, I think FBA has an extremely bright future. I love FBA. Do you I don't know if you mentioned it. I was looking at the comments. If you see me looking over here, do you merchant fulfill anything? I don't know if you mentioned that.
0 items.
0, really?
We won't. Honestly, we had hazmat products that were good whenever we looked at them. And it's just like we wouldn't even carry them because, like you said, FBA is what got us here. Like, the ability to scale is because of FBA. If I didn't have FBA, I couldn't ship 30,000 orders a month.
Right.
Like, it's just not happening. We
30,000
would have to have
a
an
month.
actual army. We would have to have an actual army to ship orders. But Amazon does all that stuff for us, and I have 4 dudes that pack boxes. Like, that's and send products to Amazon.
So what happens, guys, when you click a button, right? You've let's just say you've already put together the relationship with a brand and you've negotiated a deal. Maybe you have 1,000, 1,500 units coming into the warehouse. What's the process from it hitting your warehouse? Like, is there like a truck that comes with a pallet and then they just like move it into your warehouse? Like, how does it work? Like, when it gets delivered, and what's the process for getting it out the door?
I mean, it's funny. Like, it's evolved. That's the thing is, you start differently than where we're at now. When we first started, it was the 95% of the stuff we bought came in, just on UPS. Like, they would bring it and it'd be like 1 or 2 boxes, drop it off, and that'd be our whole order, and we just process it and get it to Amazon. As far as placing an order, I mean, general turnaround time, like 99. I mean, I always say 99% because I hate speaking indefinites, but 99% of the products we carry are domestic. So it's, whenever we're placing an order, it's 2 days product gets shipped to us, or
Really?
if you were, it'd go to a fulfillment center, and then they receive it in 2 days, and it's off to Amazon.
I know that private label sellers, they'll order their item from China or whatever, and they'll have the Chinese manufacturer actually send it directly to Amazon FBA. Is that possible to set that up with your model? Why do things have to hit your warehouse?
100% possible. Like, we actually do it with certain lines where it has prohibitive shipping or something like that. Like, we generally do it, but when it's doesn't need to come to our warehouse. But like a lot of products we carry require prep and things like that. So we have an in-house team that can prep the products.
And that's what a third-party fulfillment service would do for you. I mean, if it required poly bagging or bubble wrapping or opaque bagging or any of that kind of prep, they would do that, and that's what we do in-house.
And Amazon's actually making it easier to go direct. Like, for items without prep requirements and stuff like that. Like, they actually have like an Amazon direct portal now that you can use your vendors to start working, to help your vendors work with.
Cool, very cool. We have a great question that comes in from a young gun. Cody is saying, tips on how an incoming college student with low capital could get into the business. So what's your advice? Because we've all been there, right? We've
Sure.
all been, at the point where we didn't have a lot of money, or maybe the bills were stacking up, and, there comes to a point where you have to just get in the game, right? So what are your thoughts for people who don't have much money? They want to get into wholesale. Like, say that you were back with Eric and you guys only had $600. What would be your strategy today to invest in your first wholesale product to get that ball moving in the right direction?
I mean, here's the great thing, honestly. Like, when you don't have money, you have time. So like, you would have to spend more time scouting and try to find products that line up better. You have to be more selective with low capital. You have to be more selective on products. Like, what you're going to be looking for is you're going to be looking for a product that has a great sell-through rate and great profit margin. But the great news is you have time to find it. Whereas we're generally willing to settle for, average profit margin, great sell-through, or mediocre sell-through, great margin. We're willing to settle on products where somebody with lower capital can, they're obviously going to try to pick the cream of the crop, so to speak.
Got another question here from Mastermind Hustle. Okay, there you go. Some people got to play on words with their name. Mastermind Hustle, what's going on, man? Question: how long did it take you guys to go full time with wholesale?
Well, whenever we first started, we started in July. Was our first actual sale on. We have 2 accounts. We're approved and we did all the right stuff to do it. But one of our accounts was our retail arbitrage account, because that was the one that we were confident in. And then our experiment account was the wholesale account, so we could track everything and make sure it worked or whatever. Our first sale on that account was in July of 2014, and January of 2015 we were completely full time.
Yeah, but we knew before then that if it hadn't been Q4 coming up and we had prepped all year for that Q4 return from RA, it probably would have been out 3 months. Like, probably by about the 1st of October, we had been ready to shift. But we've been preparing our inventory, and all of our scouting all year long has led up to this Q4 with RA. So we were going to get that last payday. So really, it was 6 months is when it happened. But You know, if you
3 months of that, we were actually working
right.
for the retail arbitrage side.
Very, very nice. We have another question from Peggy Forcellini. Peggy F. What's going on, Peggy? How do you and Amazon decide on how much inventory they will take? So are there limitations in terms of like, because I've heard this before that like you can only send in a certain amount of items of a SKU, I thought, or maybe I'm wrong with that. Can you send in like 50,000?
I mean, it's only on slow selling SKUs. Like the only limitations that exist are on slow selling SKUs. So, you know, for us, we don't send it. Like, here's the thing is I try to send in 30 days worth of inventory. Like, I don't like paying extra fees and stuff like that. So if I can send in 30 days worth of inventory, like that's our target. Our average turn rate's about 45 days. So we're really close to hitting it on all cylinders there. So, you know, as far as that goes, so imagine that like 45 days is our average inventory across the board.
I'm going to hit you guys with some rapid fire because we have questions coming in left and right. Nick Metz, what's up, Nick? Good to see you. How do you determine what is a medium to small company? What metrics do you use, if any at all?
I mean, okay, so here's a funny one. If you've heard of it, it's probably not a medium to small company. When you know, I was talking to the guys in our warehouse. Like, we have 2 new guys, and I was like, I asked them, I was like, how long have you been here? He's like, 3 weeks now. It's like, how many of the products had you seen before you started working here? And he said 0 of the products that he had ever seen before. So, I mean, that's the thing is we try to focus on niche-based brands. Like, we want it to be, you know, down to where, you know, stuff you don't see at a big box. Like, if you see it at a big box, it's generally not a small to medium-sized brand.
So you're saying I shouldn't go out after the show and contact Sony or Canon?
Well, you can. I mean, you might be enough longer to actually get them to give you real discounts and stuff. Now, we're not, but.
We had a good question from, I love these names. You guys are killing it with the names in the comments. Fetty Incorporated. How long after your first purchase was it before you got your first sale? So I know you were messing with that blood instrument type of item. So you sent it all out to FBA. How long until you had gotten your first sale? Do you remember that? Because I know it's an exciting day when you first sent it out.
We were selling like 300 of that thing a month. So
it's pretty straight away.
Right. I mean, it's
right when you hit the warehouse.
What was that, 10x a day? Like, so first day we sold 10ish.
Looking at the comments right now, how do you get your items to Amazon? Maybe I missed the question already. They use Amazon FBA. So do you guys ship it out like what is that called, LTD or shipping, or you ship out like LTL?
Yeah, we do now. We ship LTL. We also ship parcel shipments too.
But the majority of it for us is LTL now. Yeah, which is less than truckload for anybody that doesn't know.
Got it. Cody's asking, what would you recommend someone starting to focus on one category to branch out? Okay, hold on. Would you recommend someone starting to focus on one category or branch out into multiple? So that's the question of, should you like niche down at first on a particular category, maybe electronics, which is probably.
I mean, I personally think that you should.
I also think you should. I was actually curious if we had the same answer on that.
I thought we were gonna have an argument.
I think it's whenever you niche down, it's like easier to have conversations, right? Like, if you know something about the product, like usually when people are like, "Hey, where should I start?" and it's like, "What do you like? You know, what are you passionate about? What do you use in your life?" And start trying to look at it from that perspective. And it's funny, like one time we were working with a guy, he was a doctor, and he was like, "I can't find out, you know, what to sell." Like, and it was like, what do you do for a living? He's like, "I'm a doctor." And he's like, "Whoa, like a doctor? Like, do you like health supplements?" And he was like, "I love them." And I was like, "All right, let's start here." I mean, it makes sense. It's just whatever you know. And we've had worked with a teacher, and she started in teacher supplies and did incredibly well. So it's just, if you're whatever you have any level of passion about, really.
Game Seekers in the house is asking, what is your average price on a product?
Well, last year I think we were at around, our ASP was around $21. And ASP is average selling price. This year we're probably starting to get a little closer to $30. Like, we're trying to run it up a bit.
Frank Andrix is asking, how can you guys wear those Patriots shirts? Haha, great information.
He's a bandwagon fan. I mean, he's you know, they won the Super Bowl. He became a fan.
To short answer your question, it's proudly. That's how.
Hang on. That's actual from the Super Bowl, right?
That's a Super Bowl official one right there.
Yeah, he actually went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like 2 weeks before that he became a fan.
Right, yeah. Right when they won the AFC Championship, I was started becoming a fan with the Super Bowl.
Hey, so let me ask you guys. You guys have the 5-day workshop that's coming up on the 17th to the 21st, and it's free. What are you guys going to be covering in there? Because there's a lot of questions coming in the comments, and some of these questions we can give you a short answer, but they are more detailed, like product research and stuff. I'm sure you can talk about it for hours. Let's talk about the free workshop you guys have been going on. Is that held online, or do people have to drive anywhere? Does it, or does it cost money? I know we said
absolutely virtual. Like absolutely virtual. We wanted it to be accessible by as many people as possible. So it will be online, and everything will be recorded. So if you can't make a webinar live or something like that, it'll be recorded. You can catch the replay. Now here's the caveat to that. It's only going to be up for a short period of time. Like we're not going to leave it up forever. It's going to be up for like a week. And after that, we're going to take it down. And there's a reason for that. We love people who take action. Like, a lot of the people that we deal with and are looking to make a pivot in their business. They're looking to make a change, or they're looking to potentially add wholesale to their business. But we want people to jump in and take action. And it's a free workshop. So get in, do it. And, what are we going to cover? We're going to cover product selection. Like we're going to go through the things that we look for in a product. We're even going to cover, like, you get to see some of that live. Like you get to see us looking for products and analyzing them. You get an over the shoulder look at it. So it's gonna be awesome.
Wait, live? You're gonna show people actually looking?
Yeah, I mean, there's one of the videos we actually covered some live sourcing, so it was phenomenal. Then we're gonna have then we're gonna be able to go over different strategies you can use to contact companies. Like how do you do it? Like how can you have that conversation? It's just got every part of the process we're going to cover in depth. Like from this workshop, people will be able to go out and start a wholesale business. They're going to be able to go out and they're going to be able to start, picking up leads and starting to make those calls and send emails and things like that. So I think it's going to be an amazing event, man. I'm super, super excited for it.
I want to tell everybody in the comments, I just hooked you guys up right now. I gave you guys the hook up. So, I want to tell you guys right now, and I've fallen victim to this before. There's a great opportunity. It's free, but I didn't take advantage of it. I just let it pass by. Don't. If you want to make a change, you've got to do something different. So just sign up. It's free. It's down below. It's actually the first link in the description. I'm looking right now, RaikenProfit.com/free workshop. So sign up. It's free. What's the time commitment on these videos? Do you know?
I think the videos are about 20-30 minutes each, and we're going to do one live webinar during it. It'll probably be an hour long webinar.
And any tips for people? What do they need to bring with them and like prepare? Anything they need to have? Notepad, pen?
No, like you said, it's all in replay. So maybe the first time through, just watch it to let it, wash over you a bit, and then maybe rewatch it with a better, your mindset reframed then, and you'll know what you're looking for.
Ready to take action. Sure, of course.
So what I want to know right now is everyone who's watching, we have 214 people watching right now. I want you to say in the comments, I love the Patriots if you are going to there. That was a bad one, right? I'm from New England. So I love the Patriots as well. Or you could say I love Atlanta, either one. But let us know who's coming. Sober Reseller in all caps is asking who's coming, right? Miners Treasures coming. So we got Sober Reseller. We got Miners Treasures coming. We've got, oh man, the comments are going by so quick. Sober Reseller says, I love the Seahawks. Ryan Pinkman is coming. Lisa says, I smashed the like button. Nick Metz is coming. We got Biff Mail just signed up. So we got a bunch of people coming. So smash the like button. Come to the workshop. What do you guys think about that? You guys excited?
Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, it's like you said, it's the best price available. It's free.
And if you don't like it, honestly, we'll give you a full refund.
Yeah. I mean, you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, guys, if you don't like it, just send a message to support@RaikenProfit.com. We'll take care of you with the free workshop and everything like that. Berkeley Wiley saying, I love the Cowboys. So we got a lot. What do you guys think about the Cowboys?
I mean, they got a good young core. So a lot of potential there. They're a little scary, to be quite honest, but luckily they're in the NFC. So if we're playing them in the postseason, that's fine because it's in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I mean, you got Dak going to go crazy next year.
Well, I mean, that's fine as long as he avoids Aaron Rodgers again.
Joyce says, I don't love the Patriots, but I'm coming. I knew that was coming.
Yeah, that one backfired on you.
Just looking through some of the comments right now. Michael Ramirez, one more question. Minimum ROI to focus on. We have a minimum ROI that you guys look for typically?
We have it for our business. I mean, I can give you I'll give you the blanket answer, and then I'll give you the real answer. So, like, the real answer is that should change based on your business. Your target ROI should be different than mine because you have different expenses and overhead costs and things like that. But so that ours should be different than yours. Now, typically, you can tell people 30% safe.
Awesome. Cool. So I think that about wraps it up, guys. Again, for the people who are in the comment section, there's a lot of questions coming through. We apologize for not being able to get to every single person. But if you have any more questions, feel free to drop a question down below. I'll be down there. If you guys don't mind maybe checking in maybe in a couple of days if there's any questions in the comment section, see if we can help these folks out. But again, guys, sign up for the free workshop, raikenprofit.com/free workshop. It's the 17th to the 21st. The replays are available. Bring a pen and a pad. You don't really need to prepare, though, because there's going to be replays. And get started, right? Let's leave people with maybe 3 things that they could do after this video, 3 action steps that they can take to start moving. Because I'm a big Tony Robbins fan. I'm big into the self-development. Tony Robbins says, never leave a goal without taking action, because a goal is not a goal unless you do something with it. So what are 3 actions people can use to do right now to start making this thing a reality, right? And again, you don't have to go full-time into wholesale, but for them to be able to plant the seed, right? The garden's in the backyard. What do they have to do to plant the seed? What are 3 things they could start doing?
I'll kick it off with one, and that is, take some time, figure out what, in any business, whether it's wholesale or whatever, what amount of money would you need to bring in to change, like to quit your job or to move from RA to wholesale or whatever it is that you're wanting to implement. What this change you want to happen, what is it going to take? Get that number. Sit down and think, what are my expenses? Where would I be comfortable? Where would I be, feel, like I'm able to take that step and move forward? So sit down. I mean, that's something you can do, just anytime you have time. It doesn't require any online selling experience. Doesn't require anything at all. Just a little thought, reflection, and a little projection into the future for yourself.
And maybe it doesn't even need to be like a full-time income. Like maybe it needs to be like, I need to make this much extra money to live a comfortable life. Like it can be anything. I mean, people have different goals in businesses. Sure. Number 2, I would say, go get a resale certificate. Like go start setting up a resale certificate. First off, every wholesale company you contact is going to ask you for it. And it's not, like most people are like, is it imperative to wholesale? It's like kind of, but not, but not really. It's like they only need to see it to know that you're a real company. So it's, that's why they're asking for it. But that's an imperative one, and it's super easy to do. What would you say for the 3rd one?
I don't have anything for the 3rd one. I thought my first one was so golden that I thought that was a Steph Curry from half court. So like I was kind of walking away with my arms up.
No, I mean seriously, the 3rd one is
go sign up for
the workshop. Like
there you go.
We're going to go over this. We're going to go over this in detail. You guys will be able to start at least seeing all parts of a wholesale business. That's it. I mean, that's the whole thing is you get to see all the pieces of a wholesale business in that workshop, and you get to determine, like, does this make sense to me? Is this what I want? Is this the change I'm wanting to make in my life? And if it is, like, that's, that you get to see it, and it's free. Like, go sign up now. This is going to be an awesome workshop. It's super stoked about it.
Someone asked in the comments, did they have to wear a red shirt like both you guys when they come? I just made that up.
Yes. This is like Tiger Woods on Sunday, baby. This is a victory shirt.
Hey, well, Dan and Eric, appreciate you guys coming on. Everybody, if you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe. I know we got a little late echo, but it's all good. We in the house. We had fun. Subscribe, like, comment. Links below to the workshop, links below to their blog. And yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. The replay of this will be up, so feel free to watch it again. Wholesale Formula on Facebook as well if they want to check you out.
Our page is the Wholesale Formula.
Cool. Awesome. So appreciate it, guys. You guys rocked. Appreciate you guys bringing all this information. And yeah, look forward to hopefully talking to you guys in the near future. If there's a lot of questions that come in, I'm going to ask you guys to come back on. So if it's cool with you guys, we'll see if we can work something out. So
happy to do it, man.
All right, awesome. Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Smash that like button, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out, and go take some action. Bye.